Karen Moore, a 52-year-old Caucasian woman from Davie, Florida, left her home at 7 p.m. on June 26, 2001, the day before her birthday, and she would never come back. Christina, her 8-year-old daughter, would return from summer camp the following day in honor of her mother's birthday, but her mother would not be there to welcome her home. Where might Karen have gone to? Was there any criminal activity surrounding her disappearance? Will she ever return? Christina had been looking for answers to these questions for 22 long years until now. Hello and welcome back to Mystery Detective, a channel where we tell the tales of some of the most infamous cold cases in America and beyond. We are currently examining a cold case that was solved in 2023 after being cold for 22 years. Stay with us as we begin to unravel this mystery. Davie, a cozy suburban community in Florida's Broward County, offers the warmth of a close-knit neighborhood and the vitality of Western-themed attractions. Both tourists and locals find the city's year-round sunshine, mild weather, and the close proximity to beaches to be attractive features. Due to Davie's position as the center of several university campuses, it is well known for housing college students. Davie offers an abundance of recreational opportunities, high-quality education, and friendly neighborhood living. It is in this beautiful city that our case starts today. On June 27, 1948, Thomas Stewart Moore and Olga Charlotte Moore welcomed a daughter into the world. Karen Elizabeth Moore was the name they gave her. She had a sister named Pam as well. Growing up, Karen loved playing the piano, sailing, hiking, and cooking. Since she was a young girl, Karen has had a strong interest in travel. Nobody would have imagined that one day she would leave and never return. She earned her Associates in Art degree in 1968 and her Bachelor's in Science with a nursing major in 1979. 53 years old, Karen Elizabeth Moore and her husband were divorcing in 2001. She had a restraining order against him. Christina was their 8-year-old daughter, and Karen was granted full custody of her. Prior to her disappearance, Karen worked as a nurse at the Boca Raton Retirement Community Edge Point Estates, and despite working full-time, she never wavered in her commitment to giving Christina a good upbringing. She made certain Christina had the most enjoyable years of her life. Christina recalls Karen as a loving mother as well. Even though she worked as a nurse, Karen made out time to spend with Christina by taking her to the zoo and engaging in other activities. She simply wanted to give her daughter a happy and healthy childhood. However, the happy picture of this family would soon change into a sad one that was full of unanswered questions. On June 27, 2001, Karen was to turn 53 years old. To celebrate with her mother, Christina returned from her Girl Scout camp, but Karen wasn't home to welcome her. When Karen failed to pick her up, Christina knew that something was wrong. Karen was a nurse, so it was conceivable that she was preoccupied at the office. However, Karen was always available for her daughter and would have sent someone else to pick up Christina if she had to go to work. It was a very strange situation. The story that followed grew eerier by the hour as the day passed by. Around 6:30 p.m., on June 26, 2001, Karen paid her neighbor's son to mow her lawn, and that was the last time anyone had seen her. Around 7 o'clock in the evening, she left the house in her white 1999 Saturn. Nobody knew why she had stepped outside or where she might have gone. After waiting for hours and she still failed to show up at the house, Pam Kleiss, Karen's sister, called the police. Pam revealed that on the day Karen vanished, she had asked her ex-husband to pick up Christina from camp before she left for work. She then later had a quick conversation with her neighbor's son before leaving the house. Nobody knows what happened after these incidents. The following day, she had a job to report for. Keith Kreidel, the executive director at Edge Point Estates, the retirement community where Karen worked, mentioned Karen's 8 years of reliable and responsible work history. Because Karen cared so deeply about her work, if there was ever an urgent task, she would have notified the establishment. Everyone, including her, was aware of how much Christina meant to her. There was no question that Karen did not leave on her own accord. Was this merely a distressing accident, or was there another factor at work here? The search for Karen Moore was hampered by the police's limited resources and growing suspicions. Tracking her car was the first thing they needed to do. Karen was driving a white 1999 Saturn four-door with a license plate DOOTHU when she mysteriously vanished. On the back of her car was a sticker for Indiana State University. Every detail of this information was made available to the public. A woman soon reported seeing the same car in South Miami-Dade County. According to a tip given to Davie Police Department Detective James Franquez, but the information was unconfirmed and unsupported by any other witnesses. In a last-ditch effort to move the case along, the police published a missing poster that described Karen's appearance. She was depicted on the posters as having brown hair, brown eyes, and glasses. She was described as being 5 feet, 4 inches tall. The police were searching for leads to find Karen's whereabouts but were having no luck. Her home's initial inspection was a sufficient indicator of bad news. Her entire wardrobe, luggage, and even her phone were discovered at home. A closer inspection of her home revealed no indications of trespassing or forced entry. The detective surmised that Karen must have left the house voluntarily, but it was still unclear why she had left. Detective James Franquez informed the public that Karen Moo's phone and financial records were being investigated by the police. He immediately ruled out theft or robbery when her bank account and credit card showed no activity. This implied that Karen was in a terrible situation. Since she still had all her necessities at home, she would have needed money to support herself, right? The police were asked by Karen's family to use a helicopter to look for her, but they were unable to do so because they were unsure of Karen's possible route. Karen Moore had completely disappeared without a trace. Despite the Moore family and the entire police department posting missing person posters with rewards, days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, and months turned into years as Karen's family waited for her to return. Years and years passed, but Karen never came back. Although Christina, her daughter, got married and had kids of her own, Karen's fate from that day remained a mystery. On January 6, 2023, Mike Sullivan and Michael Rodriguez, who were leading the Sunshine State sonar team in searching the nearby water bodies in Broward County, were joined by Britton Lockhart, a scuba diver and the owner of the YouTube channel Depths of History. They discovered a car in a Davie retention pond with the aid of cutting-edge sonar technology. The entire team realized they had struck car wheels in the water when Michael saw his underwater sonar system start to light up. They searched for the car for about 15 minutes before finding it. Britton dove to inspect it and discovered an open trunk and a license plate buried beneath 3 feet of muck. Although they were confident that they had discovered something significant, they were unsure of its specifics and whether it was connected to any prior cases. The Davie Police Department was immediately contacted by Britton Lockhart. Karen's mysterious disappearance occurred 22 years ago, but Davie police hadn't forgotten about her. They had to send the divers back into the water when they got to the scene the following day. The car was extricated from the water and taken for additional inspection. The vehicle Karen was driving when she vanished matched the description of the car. Karen's car's license plate was discovered to be covered in dust. It was a significant finding in this 22-year-old case. The puzzle was beginning to come together. 2 bones were discovered inside the vehicle, and it was later determined that Karen Moore had been there when it crashed into the lake. They at last learned what had happened to Karen Moore. Even though the entire search mission was broadcast live on YouTube, Lockhart and Rodriguez were unable to discuss the specifics of the case. The search teams and even the Moore family were barred from giving interviews about the case because the police suspected foul play. Even though the whats, hows, and whys of her mother's disappearance have been a mystery for 22 years, Christina has now received closure on the matter. Karen mysteriously vanished, leaving Christina in the custody of her family. There could never be a replacement for the warmth and closeness she experienced with her mother. In her early years, she experienced frequent ups and downs. She even spent some time in foster care. She would miss her mother during these times and pray that she would be found or come back to her. Every life moment that every little girl hopes and dreams, to have their mother with them. My own birthdays, when I got engaged and married. Now I have 2 kids. They didn't get to know their grandmother, Christina heartbreakingly said in an interview. Without a doubt, Christina and her mother had a close relationship. She posted on TikTok in 2021, even after all these years, lamenting how she wished she had had a little more time with her mother. Christina finally learned the fate about her mother after 22 long years. Although Christina was unable to find all the answers to the questions that had troubled her for years, she was nonetheless grateful to the police and search teams for allowing her to bring Karen back home and allow her to be laid to rest in peace. The investigation into Karen Moore's disappearance is still active and ongoing. Davie police informed Fox News Digital via email that they had met with the detectives but were unable to comment further, due to concerns that doing so might compromise the investigation's chances of success. The next round of pressing inquiries surfaced following the discovery of Karen's remains in the pond. What caused Karen to fall into the pond? What was the purpose of this crime? Assuming the police's suspicions are accurate, who was to blame for Christina and the Moore family's 22 years of suffering? There is still hope for Karen now that she has come home after 22 years. A partial success was achieved thanks to the police department's commitment and technological advancements in sonar systems. Even though the answers currently seem hazy, Karen's justice could be right around the corner. Do not be afraid to speak up if you know anything. Your knowledge could be crucial to solving a long-standing mystery. Was Karen's death a result of an accident or something more nefarious? Do you think this case can advance any further? Post your ideas in the comments section to share with us. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and leave likes and comments. Until next time, keep yourself safe and on the lookout for another mystery to be unraveled. Thank you for watching.